Good morning, people. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. This is Spirit Journey. Today is good old Friday, March 18th, 2022, and the time is now 3:36 a.m. in the morning. Yes, I'm up early. Go to bed early. You also wake up early. I hope we all are doing well. I want to talk about a few things. Boy, a lot of things I don't even, just I had a lot of thoughts on my mind. And I want to talk about two major things. One, a commentary on Jussie Smollett. He got released from jail. He was to do 150 days of jail time and probation, but he's doing an appeal. His legal team is doing an appeal, and they were able to, during the appeal, that he can be out. And how long will this appeal take? To do appeals could take months and months and months. And the other thing I want to talk about this story I heard about this near-death experiencer. Someone had their heart had stopped for oh almost 2 hours, and they were able to bring him back. And my thoughts about this whole thing. It's kind of unrelated stories. I had wanted to talk about the near-death experiencer video that I saw earlier, but I got distracted. And when I was about to prepare for this talk, it came to my memory. So if I still have time, I want to discuss about that. So let me begin. The Jussie Smollett, he's those of you who don't know, he is an actor, American actor, and he's biracial, Black American mother, and a Ashkenazi Jewish father. The children, many of them are in the acting, Hollywood industry. And an event happened 3 years ago. Um, he had allegedly, and again, he was convicted of these felons, that he staged a hate crime. And from the very beginning, I thought, I talked a little bit about this just a couple of days ago when he went in jail. But now he's out of jail. And so I want to talk about my thoughts about this. And I was very upset upon hearing this. And I'm upset for a number of reasons. Um, there is corruption out there. And for an American Black myself, there are people out there who are genuinely victims of hate crimes, discrimination, etc. And it infuriated me. And so I'll be talking about my experiences. And I shared some of these stories before, my experience here in the US. Um, there are people who are suffering out there. There are people who work very hard. You have people in history who got killed because of racism, hate crimes. And so the legacy of those people, yes, good morning, Vera, good morning. Yes, so the legacy of these victims in American history who were targeted with hate crimes, Black people who are faced with, targeted of hate crimes.
And I think it's like a laughing stock.
You're making those victims, true victims of hate crimes.
Into something trivial. I don't think it's a feather in his hat because he
Has influential friends. See, that's why I think he got out. I think he got out because one, he has the money, or he knows people with money that could bail him out. He has influential friends who initially got him out from the arrest. Was that
3 years ago.
he knows people in high places, such as the Obamas, former president of the U.S.
Barack Hussein Obama.
Now, when Juicy Smollett shared his story, I thought it was very problematic about him being outside at 2 o'clock in the morning at
Sub-zero temperatures.
minus 20 degrees Fahrenheit. Just 20 degrees Fahrenheit is cold for me, but minus 20. And at the hearing, the closing of the hearing that happened in November, yeah, he was sentenced. He was convicted of the crime of, a felony. He is a felon. And the judge, I thought, was very patient with him when he was given his sentence about a week ago. So he was tried and convicted in November of 2021, and then just about a week ago, the judge gave him his sentence, which was to be 150 days for staging a hate crime. So in America today, you need a black person or biracial person, uh, a gay man needs to stage a hate crime to be real. He felt he needed to stage. So is racism as bad as it is that he needed to?
Stage a hate crime. Again, he was convicted of this. Plenty of evidence.
Um, but again, if you have friends who were president of the U.S. who allegedly may be of the same orientation that Jussie Smollett is, so it just seems like if you're a member of the alphabet soup community and black, that you are favored and you are protected. And that's part of where my anger is coming from. To be a straight black American female who who aren't friends with anyone of any political power. And this infuriates me. And I'm surprised that
The
leaders in the black community have not spoken out. Yes, hello, Vera. Good morning, good morning. Yes, so I'm surprised that it's pretty quiet right now. Yes, good morning, Asa KRT. Are you associated with Acer NYC? If so, good morning again. Yeah. So anyway, oh, okay, you can go ahead with your question. You're going to talk about different things.
Different things I'm going to talk about with regard to Smollett and my how it affected me.
All right. All right. One and the same. Okay. Fantastic. Fantastic. So, yeah, when I get your question, if I can answer it. So I'll begin. Um, so I don't have
Rich friends
that could be on. And again, I'm not stupid enough.
to do something to create a hoax.
To get attention. And he's really not, he reminds me of someone that I worked with before. It was a female. See, this guy is like you hear of the Karens, he's a male version of a Karen, someone who stages things, a drama queen. That's him. And see, when people cry wolf, when there's a real wolf that's attacking you, no one's going to come to help you. And that's the danger of Smollett. There are people who are targeted, who things in life happen to, where you're going to need the assistance of the police. Remember, the police were called and they came to assist him in his home. And the cops knew something was up. And he lied to them. And that's why he was arrested. When you lie to the police about something and then
Staging,
a hoax and the resources. See, the Chicago was that the Chicago police force was see they because Smollett was a well-known actor and friends of the Obamas. You bet Chicago was on their toes to find out who is his attacker. They went out of their way to assist him. And nothing, I mean, to find out, to be mocked. They mocked them. I think it was a police captain or something like that. He was a black man there with the Chicago police force. He was embarrassed about the whole thing and furious, and rightly so. Remember also, you had remember he was interviewed by Good Morning America, um, Robin Robin Roberts, and she is a Black American lesbian. Okay, she interviewed him. Remember that interview, people? Robin, what's it? Robin. Okay, yeah. She that woman, that newscaster.
she interviewed him.
And she was patient with him. So they made sure that they got someone of his sexual orientation and a nationality and race to interview him. Now she's a news reporter, right? How come she's not? You start to wonder. Now she never said she. I never saw her write a post like "oh poor Jesse" type of thing or anything like that. I never saw her. She was just interviewing him, but I think she may have had some doubts. Just my feeling. Um, but you share, what you thought about the interview that Robin Roberts did with Jesse Smollett a couple of years ago after he alleged he was attacked, bias attack against him. But now, you know, Juicy Smollett was convicted by his peers. He was sentenced about a week ago, and now he's out of jail pending the, his legal team is contesting. I don't know the right terminology. Um, they're appealing the sentence. So during the appeal, they allowed him to come out. So I think he had a post bail or something like that, so he could uh, redo his case, and that could take months. Now he's not like completely out of jail in the sense of that it was overturned. No, he's a convicted felon, but he has a right to appeal, and two of the three judges agreed and allowed him go. So that meant that one of the judges said no, but two of them said yes. It will be very interesting down the road who those two judges were. Who are they? That would be interesting. And who's the one that said no? That'd be interesting also in comparison. But I'm extremely angry. And so I want to share with you my thoughts why this angers me so as a black, straight black American woman. Let me tell my story. I've shared part of this before, but this, I want to, with all this thing happening, all my life, I really tried to do my best. I didn't understand what racism was, but I know I felt it. Um, I became early of physical differences in people because of my own family dynamics. Both of my parents are of black ancestry, but one is more mixed than the other, and one of them looks like a white person. Other one is a dark skinned person. So I'm used to seeing different extremes of color. And then me and my siblings came out the color that we came out, in the middle. So I was aware of that there's varieties of different complexions of people. But I noticed my being out in the world that you start to notice that you're treated a little different. And I'm a very sensitive person, very sensitive. And some people want to befriend you and some don't. And you really start to wonder, who are your friends? Who do you fit in with? And by the time I graduated from high school, um, and I was out in the so-called real world, uh, entered college, got a job. Yeah, I got my job first. A friend of the family member got me a job, helped get me a job, and then I went. Then I started school like a month after in college, and I always wanted to be better. I worked for the city, my very first job, and this working for the city of New York was trying. You saw the bottom of the barrel. It was extreme, the demographics. Most of the people there were black Americans. Um, the supervisors and management, most of them were white, but you did have black American supervisors, management there as well. But the bulk of the people that worked there were union, and I was in the union with them. And so the bulk of the people were blacks. You had back then, you had some Hispanics,
Um, you had some, yeah, you had,
some whites. Um, I remember there was an Egyptian person there that I met. But the bulk of the people were American blacks, poor, uneducated. The stereotype images of Black America, and I remember the drugs that were there, and how some of the people they want to corrupt you with drugs. I remember being approached by a woman. She was a bisexual. You know, it's really something that people would come back. I'm only 17 years old. I was as naive could be about life. It was very sheltered life. And the woman that I worked with, she had passed a note. And she was sharing that she's bisexual, even though she's married and had a 6 year old at the time. She was twice my age. So she was 40 or in her 40s, and I was 17. I was going on 18. So I'm a minor. And I understand now she was propositioning me to go on a rooftop with her. And then she wants to try to corrupt me again.
by offering me cocaine. She asked me,
Oh, can I use your nail file? This was outside. This was at Washington Square Park. You know, we worked together. We were in the same department. And we had gone to a pub during lunchtime. And she asked me for to use my nail file. Well, I had no idea she asked for my nail file because she wanted to snort cocaine and use my nail file for that. And I remember how disgusted I felt. And then she takes the tip of the nail file and rubs it on the back of my hand and starts laughing. I'm again a minor, and she at some point, I forget which one happened. I think the thing with the cocaine happened first, and then she later on passed a note on the job. Now you're a married woman. I don't care what your status is. You're a married person. See, I'm very conservative in heart. You're a married person with a child. You stick to your husband and your child. Don't be messing around and cheating, whether you're cheating on the same gender or a different gender. Don't be nasty. That's just me. Okay. Um, so I knew I wanted better in life than this company. I wanted to be something important. I wanted to have a sense of self-esteem.
uh, the racial climate at that time, 40 something years ago, was very,
Very tight against black people. Again, I'm a teenager. Oops. I was a teenager, 17. Don't know my head from my elbow. Very naive girl I was.
and I'm trying to make my way through in life. So yeah, with working with
Adults. A lot of them did drugs. Yeah, drugs was out there and alcohol. And I wanted I always felt like within the black community, this oppression, I just felt like this oppression. I just felt I knew I wanted more. And I think that being someone who is racially mixed and maybe not as dark as some of my other other black folk out there. So you are aware, and there is colorism out there, but I knew I wanted better. I knew there's something better for me. And so, well, what happened? Yeah, so life happened to me. Yeah, I'm fast forwarding a lot, but that was my first work experience, that job, and I knew I wanted better. I didn't want to be around people who did drugs, poverty, all that. So I always had this in the back of my mind, and certain events that happened to me in life. Um, I worked in to try to get jobs. Yeah, I had left that job to go to wait for school. Yeah, I always wanted to go away to school, college, and I initially applied for a college away from home.
And my folks said no. They didn't want me to go away.
And you know you have to listen to your parents. So when 2 years after that, I decided to make the move and say, I'm going away for college. I had started to build up some confidence, but I was exposed to things and professors. You could get college professors, and they may not be so kind to black people. Sometimes you may say things, and you might be the only black person there. Yeah, I remember there was a statement that was said. It was a human behavior class. It was in a lecture hall, and I was the only black person there in the classroom. There might have been an Asian person there, but I was the only black person there that I remember. And he said a statement about a particular black person. It didn't matter what the person was. It was a human behavior class, and we're watching a video clip of a it was a child. Child could have been maybe 8 years old. She was a troubled child, and they wanted to correct certain behaviors in her. Yeah, so the class was really about taking human behavior and how to correct undesired behaviors. And so this one child, who was a black female, and he had said something about her being black that I thought was, it wasn't necessary, it wasn't an issue on her race, but that's just so happened what she was. And he was making focus of that, and I was offended. Um, so I'm always was aware that as I got older, my hearing comments that was in essence exposing the person's bias really based on their race. So more and more, this is what my life was revealing, and that I think, like my high school, I went to an integrated high school, and it was a fantastic high school. And I think what made racism hard for me was that, see, my high school was very good to me. The whites in the school that I went to were very, very positive, and they never did anything to me. Um, so I think it gave me a false sense of security that about racism, because if my high school was fine, nothing happened. So when I became an adult and was in the workforce, that it was almost like a culture shock when in the job market, that's where things start to become verbalized about you, or bullying on the job. Okay, I'm just reading your comment. Wait a minute. Okay. This woman was young looking and dressed normally. She doesn't look homeless, but she just attacked this elderly woman out of nowhere. Just how you describe her. Oh, wait a minute. Okay. Oh, let me look at the first comment. Let's see. Have you seen on the news that woman who pushed an 87-year-old woman from behind? This woman by made by the woman who got you hit by. Oh, I'm okay. Oh, wow. Wow, thanks for sharing this, Ace KRT. Wow, 87-year. Yeah, I don't even have a TV. I mean, of course, some of the new, I do find a lot of the news on the internet. Um, oh, yeah, I heard there was stabbings out there. Oh, wow. Let me read that again. This woman was young looking and dressed normally. She doesn't look. Wow. Oh, okay. Thank you so much for sharing that. Thank you. Yeah, I appreciate you, Ace. I'll call you Ace, Acer. Thank you. I'll check it definitely. I'll definitely would check it out. Definitely would check this out. Yeah, if that's the same woman. Yeah, if that I'm gonna look. If it's the same woman, I will go to the police. I'll yeah, I'll go and file against her or come. Yeah, I'll do something like if that's the same woman. The crazy was it was a young woman, 20s, 30s, uh, long hair, but she had it kind of like pulled up, really messy. And she wore this eyeliner. She kind of heavy set, slight, chubby, but tall and real strong looking. Yeah, yeah. I told you that I bumped into her. That's the lady that attacked me. She was 2 blocks away from my home. Yeah, because that same lady attacked an elderly man and this other person who was an elderly black man. I believe what she did was a bias crime. The area where the attack happened predominantly all white. This area was on the Upper West Side, and it was the first time I walked over there. I was going home from a dental appointment, and I purposely did not take mass transit because I was afraid to get attacked or something like that happening. So I walked it, and here I get attacked. Yeah, thank you so much. If it's the same woman, boy, uh, I'm gonna really make a big stink about it. Yeah, I didn't go get the. I was going to get the police report. I made my appointment to get the copy of the police report, and then I got. Um, I said, I have a feeling that these cops may have wrote something that was, cops. Some cops lie, and I wanted to protect my psychology, my mind. I wanted to protect my mind because if I can't get a lie or distortion on that report, because they didn't want to listen to me when I told them about the other 2 people who got attacked by this woman, crazy woman. Again, 4 cops it took to subdue her. 4 cops. So thank you for bringing that to my memory. So yeah, uh, so the area where the attack happened. So coincidentally, the people that got attacked were black people. Coincidentally, that's who she had an issue with at the moment. White area, mostly I should say mostly white people there. I don't even remember seeing any black people until after the attack, and the cops were there. The guy. came up to me. He says, yes, she attacked me also. I'm glad he came forward and told me. Because I was telling people around who were watching this white woman be subdued by the cops. I made sure when you had some people taking their cameras out, yeah, it's all videotape. People videoed it. And I walked up to them and I said, this woman is being arrested because she attacked me. She physically assaulted me. That's what happened. Blah, blah, blah. And they were like, oh, really? Oh, blah, blah, blah. And they were very apologetic to me and everything. Yeah, because I don't want them to give a false narrative. Oh, the cops are just subduing white ladies. No, this lady attacked me in the middle of the street. Oh, yeah. Yeah, so I made sure. So when the guy heard me say, hey, this lady attacked me, then he had the courage to come to me and say, you know, this lady attacked me also. That's what happened. So again, with trying to tie this in with a Smollett, um, so all my life, I wanted to prove that I was something better. That I wasn't just
I was not a person from the street. I was not a drug dealer or a drug addict. I never did drugs in my life.
I lived a very clean lifestyle. Um, I, I I went on my way to try to please society to prove that I was a worthy person. Um, I had worked even yeah. See, it's a sentiment that that see sometimes people's true colors come out when you're in proximity to them, and when you have to work and sit next to them, and their racism is a program, or bigotry is it's a program. Is a program to have you do a particular response or behavior.
Against someone or something, right?
You're not born being this way. You're taught being this way. Anybody can be taught to be anything, good or bad. And so I had an opportunity. I was tired of the. I used to also work in Wall Street. Yeah, I worked in many different industries, and I was tired of Wall Street area and finance, and I wanted a career change because I um, politics was happening on that job. It was a very good job I had, and so I thought, hey, let me go into the cooking field, and it looked like a fun job, fun thing to learn. I love sweets and everything. So an incident had happened on that job, my job that I had on the in the financial district near Wall Street. Even it was a cushy job, but I said I'm out of here. Put in my letter of resignation, and the end of that month, it was in January of 87, 1997. Yeah, 1997. I went to cooking school, and school was fun. And I had acquired a job, a cooking job, while in school to help support myself because I was living off of my savings. So I had to take out money from my KO, that my retirement fund to live on. And so I said, well, hey, let me get a job so I can get experience because this is I'm new at it and I really want to learn to do it well to get my experience before I graduate. So I looked out. I got a job. Yeah, 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 yeah. Exactly, exactly, Asa. Yeah, that's what I mentioned early in this live stream about Jesse Smollett. Exactly. Asa says Smollett reminded me of the white woman in Central Park who called the police and lied about the black man attacked her, attack her. She got no jail time for lying to the police either. And I called him, I called Smollett a Karen. A, yeah, you look in the, watch the beginning of this video, and I call him a Karen. He acts like a Karen. He also acts like a person I went to school, went to the military with. Yeah, Ace, I was in the military. This person in boot camp, a female Karen who, yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, that lady that I went to the boot camp with. I mean, who was in boot camp with me. She was a Puerto Rican woman. I should say a woman of Puerto Rican ancestry, and she would make up stories to try to make herself seem more important. Uh, she married a, what do you call it, a nuke. That's what they were called. People worked in nuclear ships, things like that. They were called nukes. And of course, she had to be married to one, and that she seemed to be related to every famous person in history. I remember her black. She was related to this person, that person. This woman is from the Bronx. Nothing wrong with the Bronx. But again, she's trying to, again, see, a lot of people are insecure with themselves. And so they get in a new environment. So now they're in boot camp, no one knows them. And so she wants to create an illusion about how important she is based on who now she's married to. So what this Karen would do would she would instigate fights with people. She didn't like white girls because she's competing for white men at the thing that she's important. So she feels that she's better than white girls there and just antagonize them. And then she tried to antagonize me. There weren't a lot of black people back then in the military, in the Navy. It was just a handful of black girls there. Black, I should say, black non-Hispanic girls there. Um, so what she did to me, see, she thought I would be one of those loudmouth ghetto black women. That's what she was hoping for. And so she was sitting directly in front of me, and then she turned around and she kicked my chair and laughed and was thinking that I was going to yell at her or something. See, in general, I'm basically very low key, especially back then I was very quiet. So she was trying to start a fight, and she was relying on me to be this stereotype black girl and yell at her. And we had a company commander, and people started complaining about her. Say, hey, she's doing this thing. And the company commander, oh, you're just jealous of her and this and that, blah, blah, blah. So again, yeah, people who provoke. And then they use the race card or, oh, well, I'm just, Hispanic. You doing this because I'm Hispanic, whatever. And this was what she was relying on. And so she was trying to elevate her status with the white company commander. And he didn't like black people either. Yep, he didn't like me. um, so I was seeing these things happening. So in life, you have people who try to set you up, and then they can use a race card or something that you did something to them. And in actuality, they're trying to set you up but blame you and hoping the other person is naive and not seeing through them. So either way, what I was going to talk about with the school. So I was in a, let's see. So I was in the cooking school, and then I had gotten a job to help support myself. Right when I get the job, one of the people that I worked closely with in school, we had like partners, and he shared a table with me. I think he was a gay guy, gay white fellow, and I thought we all were friends. It was a group of us, and I was the only black female in our group, but they had black people in the school in that classroom. But in my table, I was the only one at that particular table, and we worked very closely together. But once I got that job, his attitude changed towards me. He started kicking me also, I noticed. And he says, before class started, he says, I don't want you sitting next to me anymore. Really, like, wow. I was surprised. The other people in the group, they were cool. So I was very hurt about this. And then on the job, um, there was she was from France. And the U.S. has a special program where Europeans could come for 18 months to study cooking. Let me get my water. Sorry. My water. My mouth is going. My elixir. Sorry about that. Yeah, so what was happening? Yeah, so this woman was invited to come work in the US just for 18 months, an exchange program to teach Europeans the cooking styles. And then they go back home. Where her jealousy started coming. She had set me up one time. I had to prepare a, some type of dessert, and I was given the recipe. Well, what this girl did, okay, let's say something requires 6 pounds of sugar. When she said 6 ounces of sugar, she had changed it and put ounces. I made the recipe, and then a complaint happened after it was cooked and everything, and a customer, I guess, took a taste of it, and it wasn't sweet enough. So the the head pastry chef, the executive chef, and this is in a what call 4-star hotel restaurant, one of the top restaurants in the New York City area at that time. This was the place that I worked for were very high end uh, uh, places. So the executive chef came in. He was mad. He says, "Who made it?" Blah blah blah. So you find out I made it. He says, "There's no sugar in this." Blah 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 blah. So I took out the recipe. I said I followed the recipe, and I said, and so, which was the French girl, gave me the recipe to make the dessert. And so he doesn't yell at her for giving me the wrong information. That pastry chef and the executive chef, I should say, the executive chef was he's from Germany or Switzerland, white guy. He says, "Well, you should have known better. You should at least ask question about the sugar." I said, "It's not my recipe. This is your recipe. Who am I to question your recipe? This is what she gave me." She had changed the pounds to ounces to screw me over. And I see that, see, Europeans protect other Europeans. He didn't discipline her in giving that she changed it and put ounces rather than pounds. Then the girl says to me, "Oh, well, they did that to me when I worked in Europe." So she's going to try to screw me over the. You see that? So there are little things that's done to sabotage you. And then I eventually graduated from the program, and that job ended just like that. Oh, I forgot the reason why. Yeah, so that same white girl got me fired. Got me fired from the job. So here I was upset because she was trying to sabotage my work and everything. So I was venting one day to someone, one of the other workers there. I was just angry and venting. And she walked in the room as I was venting. And it was during my lunchtime. Well, she did something and got me fired immediately after I came back from my lunch break. She's a foreigner. You know what? I guess she was telling me the truth that her uncle is the director of the hotel. See that? See, it's who you know, people. It's kind of funny. Who you know. Who do you know in business? That white female, most likely, uncle was the director of that major five-star hotel in New York City. I'm not going to give the name of the place or the restaurant at the Ritzy Hotel. Yeah. See, things like that happen. See, when you stand, I found in life, when you try to stand up for your rights, you just, even venting of their people's harassment, they get rid of you. So I was able to find a job after I graduated from the cooking school. I worked for at a resort, and this was something. Oh, God. That's funny. That is funny. But she had that power. I mean, I kid you not. I'm an American, born and raised here, and a vet, mind my business, and that fast, that fast. I did nothing to her. And here I'm just complaining what she just did in sabotaging and changing the thing to read ounces rather than pounds. And then I said, look, who am I to question? I said, I'm not European. This is your recipe, not mine. Who am I to judge about how much sugar something going? I followed the recipe and I handed him the recipe. It was really something. She got my ass fired that quick. They had more power over you. I am an American citizen, born and raised here, and military. I mean, a veteran. And this girl had that more power over me to get me fired immediately. And no explanation. I came in for my lunch break, and then they said, "Oh, the human resources wants to see you," and then they handed me my pink slip and they said, "Go," just like that. Yes, yeah, yeah. And she went back to France. Yeah, she did a time. She was like halfway done. She's on her way out anyway to go back to France. It was just a program. She might have been there for okay, 9, 10 months. She has like 6 more months to go. So she wasn't going to be a permanent anything at the place. She's just part of that program that the U.S. has with Europe, that they allow X number to do this special program in the cooking field, and then they go back to Europe with this new skill cooking in America, and that's it. So I graduated from the school, and now I want to get a job. I got why I had to look for another job. I had gotten blacklisted from the cooking field. Somebody screwed me, and I could no longer get any work in the cooking field. I kid you not. And then I couldn't get jobs also in my prior skill as an administrator. I had belonged to many employment agencies, signed up. I had 20 employment agencies that I was registered under in New York City and could no longer find any work. So I was forced to find work out of New York State. I landed a job in Florida at a resort. And I thought, oh, everything is going to get better. Everything's going to get better now. But no, it was just to begin. This was just to begin. This is what I incurred. These are just some of the slithers of the things that happened to me as a black person. And again, I'm usually the only black American or black American female. The cooking world is mostly men and mostly people from other countries. They're not U.S. citizens. They're not from the U.S. Heavily is the cooking field are immigrants and men, male immigrants to be more specific. Some Americans, but not that many. So I landed a job in a resort. You had to live and work there. And I thought initially this was going to be my new starting world, but it was just the beginning of hell. Uh, I worked in the culinary team were half of them were from Europe, from France, another half were the Americans, and the American ones were all male. And what happened here now? Trying to get my thoughts. So I work in the pastry department, and I have an assistant working under me. He was an immigrant from Haiti. He hardly knew any English. And then there was the pastries. I was an assistant pastry chef. That was the title they gave me. Eventually, that's what they gave me there. And then I worked with the pastry chef. He handled a different desserts than me, and he had an assistant that worked directly under him. And that's where this problem begins. It was with the assistant, the helper of the pastry chef. We worked in a very small room, making the desserts. And shortly after working there, well, the I didn't ask whose people what job title people were. I was hired. They told me this is what you do, and so that's what I did. I didn't ask about other people's business, their status, what's the job title, whatever. I just did my job. And the pastry, it turns out he was the pastry chef, and he said to me early on my working there, hey, why don't you can take your lunch break with us? Join us. So I said, okay. Well, when I came back from that coffee, I might have said lunch break. I meant to say, coffee break. 15-minute coffee break, but we were there longer than 15 minutes. And his assistant was a female from Yugoslavia. She used to be a full timer, like the work I was doing, but she had children. She had gotten children, and she wanted to spend more time with them, which is very honorable. And so she changed her job status, to work part time so she can be with her kids, which is very honorable. I like that. So she knows how the deal works. She knows what the full timers and all that. Her husband works in management there in the food area, so they all know how it works. They're there for a number of years. Well, she was jealous of me, and she got angry at the pastry chef asking me, the assistant pastry chef, to take their coffee break. And when I came back from the coffee break, she starts reprimanding me. She says, you shouldn't take that long a coffee break, blah, blah, blah. So I then went to the guy that invited me. I said, hey, is so and so the pastry chef? Because she was just complaining about me going on my coffee break with you. He said, what? He says, I'm the pastry chef, not her. And was yelling. He said, no, I'm the pastry chef. She's my assistant. I said, oh. And it was true. He was the pastry chef. And then we got name tags. We got these tags. And yeah, he was the pastry chef and I was the assistant. They made me assistant pastry chef. And she starts one day, how come you got a name tag and I didn't? Well, she's of a part timer. I'm a full timer. A completely different status. And again, she used to be full time. She knows how it works. And then the attacks got even stronger as time went on. Um, she started asking, now, she doesn't have anyone under her. So she wants to boss someone around. So again, I have an assistant. She starts telling my assistant what desserts to make. And that's not her job, making my desserts. So she's overstepping herself, but she just feels like feeling important. So I said, wait a minute, that is not your job. I am the assistant pastry chef, and he is my assistant and not yours. I said, I tell him what to do. So I went to the head of the village and complained about her. And he says, oh, she's a nobody. She's just blah, 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 blah. Okay, this is the head of the village of the resort. Then I spoke to the manager, who is her husband. See again, her husband, because she wouldn't back off. So I went to the husband also, who is the manager of the cooking area, making sure all the supplies and all that, all that stuff for the cooking supplies and um, so he says, and he was a good guy. He was a good guy. He said, I'll talk to her about it. Then when I came to work the next day, she's storming at me and says, don't you be talking to my husband. I said, I didn't talk to your husband. I talked to the manager, who just so happened to be your husband. You're supposed to mind your business. Mind your business. Mind your own affairs with the cooking here. Because he had instructed her to stay out of my business. Well, she didn't listen. And she started bossing my assistant. I said, he said, you're not listening to what your husband told you. Your husband said for you to back off and do your own work and mind your business. So the guy, the little Haitian guy, he had a family, he had children. Their utmost poverty. If you know, it's really something about this guy. So he feels like he's in the middle. because again, the lady is white and into colorism, and but I'm the supervisor over him. I said, no, you do what I tell you to do. I am your supervisor and not she. Then me and the lady get in a verbal altercation. And it started to get really heated. And the people in the room, there were people on the other side of the room that does the breads. Well, this is what happened. She pulled out a knife and ready to stab me with it. She holds it up in the air to stab me. I screamed out loud, real loud to get people so people know what's going on. I said, "What do you think you're doing? What do you think you're doing?" Yeah. And ran out of that room, went to the executive chef. I said, "So and so trying to stab me." She said, "Oh, I'll handle it. I'll handle it." Ran out of that room, went to the guards of the resort. I said, "Call the police. So and so tried to attack me with a knife." The police come. Well, what happened? To make a long story short, I know I'm really long-winded here. Well, something did happen. And yeah, he did handle it all right, that executive chef. Well, when the police came, I told him my story. And he asked me to go in the car. I said, "No, thank you. I'll walk to, because um, he wanted me to go in the car, the police car. I didn't want to go in a police car because I didn't want people to think I was getting arrested. I reported a crime. And I walked him. I said, I'll walk and meet you at where the management office. So I get there. He's already there. And all the management is there. The person who tried to attack me, the my subordinate, and the other people in the room that were in the other side of the room. I went to enter. Oh, the cop was inside. I went to enter. And the executive chef, he said, "I told you I was going to handle it." And then he slammed the door and locks the door. Yes, hey, Cam. Good morning, good morning. Yes. So they locked me out of the room. And when that cop came out of that room, the cop threatened me. He says, "I'm going to leave, do my report, and I'm going to come back and I'm going to arrest one of you." I said, "She attacked me. She did this to me." Blah, 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 blah. He doesn't come back, the police. The police officer was trying to scare me. But fast forward again regarding that incident. No disciplinary actions was ever done to that woman. Even though all along I had told them what she was doing to me. I told the very head of the resort. I told the manager, everybody who, she wasn't backing off. Well, this is what happened when I found out. See, my instincts were up. I get, I didn't understand what had just happened. Again, because I wasn't allowed in the room with the cop. Well, they lied about me to the police officer. I found out. How did I find out? Well, I called up the Department of Labor about some of the see they were also shorting our check, and I decided at that point with that lady. I said, "I'm not going to continue my contract. Once my contract was up, it was almost up anyway. I said, I won't renew it. I'll just leave." So the Department of Labor said, Anytime a police officer comes to the scene of an action, they have to write a report. Go to the police station and get a copy of the police report. And luckily, I had my instincts were up. I had made the phone call off the premises of the resort. Well, they were um, going into my phone records. Yeah, see, each of the rooms at the resort had a log, and they were um, what do you call it? Going over my phone records, see who I was calling up. I found that out later. Um, so I went to the police. Yeah, 2 weeks had passed since the incident, and I knew for me I was going to stay at the resort after my contract, and then I made the phone call off the base. Just some things told me to do that. Um, when I got the police report, I read it, and my mouth dropped. I was uh, um, so hurt emotionally. They lied on the report. In fact, someone who wasn't even in the room. One of the people, it was a white fellow. One of the guys, and he would sit with me. It was really something. This was someone who pretended to be my friend. Um, he even danced. I went to one of the clubs. I very really went out, and one day I decided to go to the club on the at the resort with the other people there. And he and another gentleman escorted me in and danced with me. It was a big thing. It was really nice, and it was all for show. And he would sit with us, the cooking staff, and he would say how much he hates the French people there. Um, but this was the guy who told the police that I was a troublemaker and I got into all these things with the employees there. I was quiet as a mouse. It's a lot of hard work. I worked there. Once work was done, I went to bed. Oh, yeah. So it was really something that I hardly ever went out at night to the club on the resort. And the day I go, this day he escorts me to the dance floor and dances with me. And he's lying about my character and everything. I was dumbfounded. Well, everything. When I read it, and I I I went back to it was my day off. It was on a Friday. Yeah, I was being punished also. I wasn't gonna. We were supposed to get a day off, the weekend off. I was to get Saturday and Sunday off, and so the pastry chef said, "No, you can't get any time off." So I took it. Yes, I did, people. I took the time off. I took that time off, and I made my contacts because I was something I wasn't going to be working there anymore. So yes, I took that Saturday. Yeah, and I went and I had my breakfast there, my lunch and dinner there. Yes, I did. I don't know who filled in and did the desserts, because I didn't do it. Yep. Yeah, I was angry, folks. It was the first time I ever did something like that, and it rebelled. And when I reported back to work on Monday, yeah, the management goes and yeah, the pastry chef. got angry and gave me stink eye at the table. I acted as if nothing happened. Yeah, continue working, eating my food. But yeah, I was asked to leave. Yeah, what happened there? Yeah, I had my I yeah I had my breakfast, and I think I was to have my lunch. Yeah, I was taken off and one of the managers, a French guy, white French guy, and yeah, we all used to eat at the table together. All the cooking staff, management, we would eat together. We were all like one big family. So now he's approaching me. He says, "I want to talk alone with you in the room, such as." Now, he has nothing to do with me. He has nothing to do with me. But he wants to talk, and he was angry. So I want to talk to you alone. I said, I wouldn't be alone in any room with you. That's what I said. He said, fine. You better be out of the village by noontime, something like that. I said, fine. I made sure I got my lunch, though. Yeah. And yes, I did leave. I know the story's getting long. Yeah. So, so these things happened to me. And yes, I left that village, had a copy of the police report. So it didn't matter. My rights didn't matter. And so you have people like Smollett who make a false claim about events, about black rights and everything like that. But you have people like myself, and again, in the industry I was in, I'm usually the only black woman, sometimes just the only black person, and you get targeted. There are other things that happen at that resort, also based on standards. See, there at that resort, most of the part timers are all people of black people. Okay, let me not say people called black people and Hispanics. And this is in Florida. And most of the people of my status are usually white people. So one day I even had to clean out this machine. And this white woman there, I know how to do my job. And again, it's separate. That's one thing. The people of the full-time staff, we all know our jobs, our own jobs, and we just do it. We don't have any people harassing us. Uh, it's pretty respectful. Everybody respected everybody else's territory. Well, this woman evidently thought I was of the part-timer staff, and she wants to harass me. And she turned out to be sleeping with the head chef there. Yeah, if I would have known that at that time when she went to harass her, I would have really called her out. I found out later on. Um, but yeah, so you have people want to abuse his status,
to harm other people.
and she mistaken me for a the part-time staff based on my race. Because and in fact the time, see, the part-timers all leave at a certain hour. This was way past that. The part-time, they're out of the resort by this time, and I'm doing my job. So she should have known. But I don't think she really cared, and that's why she was harassing me when I was doing my job. And then when she really found out my status, oh, she backed off and never said anything again. So you have things and people who do things to make you uncomfortable, to make your life miserable. And so I feel for people who also go through things like that. You want to move up the ladder. I mean, not even moving up the ladder, but you want to go in an occupation, you want to develop your skills and everything, and then it could be taken away from you. You are harassed so much. Some people in the cooking field, they want to they just have like an emotional breakdown. One of the people I work with, I almost forgot about her. My very first job in the cooking field. She was an American woman, extremely overweight, extremely morbidly obese. She was big, and she turned out also to be pregnant. She fell on the floor. She had shared with me. She was crying. We were in the room. She starts to cry, and she tells me that they're harassing her and everything. It was awful. I felt badly for her. Yeah, they some. It's like when you try to keep a job and you're outnumbered. Here you're an American citizen, but you're outnumbered by others. And they make it so difficult that you get sick. Some you could get a heart attack. All these things can happen to you when you're targeted. So many things. And so again, with Smollett, people aren't going to take you seriously if something happened to you. He's not doing us a service, people. He's not doing us a service. So some people might think, oh, well, he's one of our own. You know, it's a black fellow, is one of our own. And good for those people who he got over. This is wrong thinking. See, people like Smollett, see, he has connections. And his connections are not about the straight black community who are hardworking, who are honest, who want to make a name for themselves in life in a respectable manner. You think anytime, look at those people who, my recent thing, getting a cop right after getting assaulted, and nothing happened to that person. They were sent to the hospital. And 4 days later, they're 2 blocks away from my house, and they're standing right directly across the street from me. We're not being taken seriously. We're not being supported in what we do, and our jobs are being taken away. That's why I guess there's a movement now. I don't know whether that's a strong, too strong a word, a movement, but I'm learning about more and more women, Black American women, who want to leave the U.S. for other places because the stress is that harsh. The stress is becoming too overbearing on us. These microaggressions that occur. It doesn't stop because you have Juicy Smollett types out there. The fight continues. And now we're getting people from other countries that is sharing in what they call the minority status. Well, this minority status, being a minority within a minority. And your slice in the American pie is getting smaller and smaller. And there's more and more people getting stressed out. So I feel really, I know I'm saying a lot of things. I feel very sad about the status of things that are happening in America. Yes, and so a lot of these black women, they're channels now with black women, black people moving abroad just to get a little peace of mind. But you know what else? Some of them are coming back. Some of them are coming back. And it's interesting. They don't really tell you why they come back. Yeah, America is the best country in the world. However, is it the best place for you? I love my country. I love America. Where else could I get what I'm getting now? Where else? Yeah, the grass might appear greener, but here there's more. It just offers more. It just offers more. America. Again, that YouTuber that I follow, she came back. She went overseas. She complained about America. And I guess her visa, I just presume her visa was only for 6 months. She moved to Brazil, but she came back to America. Why? Why did she come back? She never told why she came back. She never really told us what was going on there. But the only thing she did say was, oh, well, the people over there are materialistic. But she really did that. That's the only thing criticism she said when she came back. And no one's calling her out on it. Hey, what happened? You encourage us to leave America. You leave for 6 months. You really don't tell and share what was going on. What was your living situation there? What was going on there as an American woman, as an American black woman? What was going on for you over there in Brazil? But she never says, she never tells. Well, some of us are returning home from overseas. Why are we coming back? Why are some of us coming back? This is a question to really understand. So the next topic I want to talk about before I go, I did mention in the description I wanted to talk about what they call near-death experiences. Yeah, so two completely different topics. But I guess it's all about social engineering and religion, what religion plays in the social engineering. Near death experiences. I listened to something about a day or so ago. It was a black fellow, black man. Seemed like a really, really nice guy. And he had a near death experience. He had gotten septic. He had kidney stones. He goes to the hospital to get it removed, but an infection happens. Um, the infection spread, and okay, I'm just reading the morning here. Okay. Uh, okay, Asa says, please Google about the 87-year-old pushed in Chelsea and take a look at the woman they are looking for. Oh, you bet I will. You bet I will. Yeah, thank you for reminding me again about it. You mentioned about this woman. Yeah. So the woman, I'm just curious, I mean, it doesn't matter what the 87-year-old woman the elderly woman, was she a black female or a woman of color? I'm just curious. Just curious. And do they show the perpetrator? Did they get the perpetrator, or they okay? The woman they are, oh, they're looking for her, so they have a picture of this woman. Asa, they have a. That's what you're trying to tell me, that they have a picture of the woman that pushed the lady. Wow. Yeah, I don't want to take the subway. I don't want to take the subway. Yeah. So yeah, about the near death experiences. That's what I want. Let me get another drink of water here. My voice. Oh, okay. Thank you, Asa. Yeah, got to get my water. Okay, thank you, Asa. Yeah, yeah. I love my country. I really, I love this country. But it just pains me at the things that are happening about human nature. Yeah. So, okay, with the near-death experiences. Yeah. So this was an individual, a middle-aged guy, and he became septic because of a kidney infection, and he shares his experience with what happened to him. So this is more my question about my thoughts about this is really um, about religion. Again, whatever religion that serves you, you serve it. If it does you good, you do good to it. Your belief and belief about God or who is God is your business. And you practice how you want to practice your religion. But I just have questions about religion. I used to be a Christian. I'm no longer a Christian. So this near-death experiencer, uh, he was a Christian before the incident, and he wrote a book about his experience. Not he goes on tours and stuff to share his near-death experience story about. He said that he saw Jesus, and as he just said, he didn't share a lot of the details because he's has a book. He wants you to buy the book. Um, but I have questions about that. So you have a religion, you have an event that happens to you. And this event, what caught my attention was that he said this feeling came over him that when he saw the Jesus figure in his near death experience, this beautiful feeling that he had. And um, you, I, I guess based on this experience that I had, there's different technologies, people. There are different technologies that can make you feel all different ways. So I never had a near death experience, but I had an experience, um, and this feeling that could come over you. It's really weird. I used to live in the Caribbean at this time. Yeah, I did lived in different places on the world too. Many different occupations and different locations I have lived in this world. I did briefly live in the Caribbean for 3.5 years, and don't miss it. Um, I was what you call a new Christian. Um, I wasn't really into religion, but when I got out of the military and I moved back to the main, New York, and then I left. Yeah, I was going to go directly from the military to the Caribbean, but I was talked into coming back to New York. But either way, I do wind up in the Caribbean, and I was under a lot of stress because I had a job contract that the contract was to just be for a month, and I was hoping to find permanent work and a permanent place to stay. And I was there alone.
Didn't know anyone there in the Caribbean, so I had to start, do everything on my own. But it came through. I got they offered me a permanent contract there. Um, but in the process, one day I had this dream, and I too saw this again. I was a new Christian, and I wasn't really into church. I really wasn't into all that. But when I was in the military, I met up with people who went to church, and they invite me. You know, the Black American community back then were into church. Made them into church, part of the culture, especially if you're from the South. You go into church. So and I met them, and they invited me to the church, and so that's what was So I was getting getting initiated into going to church when I was in the military, and then when I got out of the military, and then I finally moved to the Caribbean, and I went to church to as a social support, to meet up with other people, to give us, for a young woman. I was in my 20s back then, and I think it's important for a woman, especially if you're not from a particular region, to have a what they call a covering of protection, a sense of protection. And so I went to church for community and sense of protection, to be able to talk to people and fellowship. And something happened. Yeah, the dream, it was something else. I saw a Jesus type character in my dream, and again, who knows what Jesus looked like? How could I say again? Because it said that the New Testament, the account of Jesus, was not a historical person, but he was a composite of an earlier faith system in various religions of India and religions of Egypt, I was told. A composite figure, savior figure. Yeah, Jesus was not the character of in the New Testament was not the only person like that in history or in a story, in literature. But yet I saw this figure. I didn't see his face. They were all at the scene. They were all wearing white, like a white dress. They were all okay. Um, I was in a circle of people, in a large ring of people, in a circle. We were maybe 30 feet apart from the circle might have been 30, 40 feet in diameter. It was a big circle we did. A lot of all young women, all white. Looked like young white girls, all wearing like white dresses. And I was there. I didn't see what I looked like, but I was in this circle, and this guy wearing a white outfit. I did not see his face. And then the game was that we had the ladies there, the young lady, they were all young, very young people. We had this white sheet, and we had to throw it up in the air and run underneath the sheet before it falls to the ground. And he was to walk on our tummy. I know it sounds very bizarre. And when it was my turn, he walked on my stomach and my solar plexus area, and it was making a funny feeling. And I woke up, and the funny feeling was in my solar plexus area. It was amazing. And then I went to church. Oh no, I made a phone call of the person from my church about the dream. And so, then she said, I'll talk to you when you get into church. I'm just getting up. And I go to church, and it's just playing regular music, and then my body starts to shake uncontrollably. And my solar plexus area You feel something like moving in a circular. It was really bizarre. And this ecstasy came over me. I started screaming because the feeling was so pleasurable. It was very orgasmic, to say it, try to be tactful, okay? It was really bizarre. I never had anything like that before. But why I mentioned this story and with regard to the near death experience, now I think what happened to me was was an experience, but it didn't require a near death to happen. But yet it happened to me, something like that. A very mystical experience. Yet this thing come over you, and I don't have any snake in my body, but it was like turning and turning in my solar plexus. It was amazing. I believe this was some type of. I believe I was being tapped onto. Yeah, because see, things happened to me in the military. And one day in the military, I was just, I was in bed and I was just reading my Bible. Yeah, I used to read my Bible. And then I started to get like these, like a anxiety attack when I was starting to read my Bible. Like it didn't want me to read my Bible. And then I had a nightmare about Satan, someone, what I call a Satan figure. Remember that movie, Angel Heart with Lisa Bonet? Remember she did a movie in the 1980s? Yeah, that movie just came out. I don't think I saw the movie yet, but it came out that year that this event happened to me. On the ship, I should say, I mean. And the character in the movie, Angel Heart, a person personifying the devil, it was a white man, very white skin, wearing a very dark black suit, a white shirt, very black hair, goatee. That archetype, I saw that archetype. I saw it, and in the dream, it was during a dream because I was asleep, and it lifted up its hand. It had its hand in a fist, and I thought it was going to try to punch me. And so I said, I rebuke you, something like that. I rebuke you in the blood of Jesus, something like that, I said. And then it started to get scared, and then it backed away. It looked like in terror. But that's what happened to me. I went to a Christian person on the ship and told them that I was having nightmares about, I'm not sure about my faith. She said, well, if you weren't confused before, but you're confused now, God is not a God of confusion. So I took that to heart. And I said, let me just come back. Yeah, because I was being tempted to walk away from the Bible back then. Because someone that I met, and this person that tried to pull me away from the Gospels back then, also coincidentally was a lesbian. And because I was interested in this fellow in the military, because we used to write each other, or I should say, I wrote her, and she got angry evidently because of my interest in this fellow. I thought we were just friends. I found out about her later on, and yeah, she was someone that adopted my cats. When I went into the military, I had to give up my pets, and I knew her through a mutual friend, I should say, and I didn't know about her status. But it's interesting how people just want to befriend you from that community only when they think they can get something out from you sexually. It's really something. So here I thought, okay, you can be what you are. She revealed to me what she was. And okay, I said to myself, you be what you want to be. That's your business. But I didn't have the right to be who I was as a straight woman. And all of a sudden, I'm her enemy now because I'm interested in this fellow. So it's really something. But either way, um, this event happened to me, and this it was a spiritual attack. Things could attack you during your sleep. That's when I'm mentioning this. So if you're in a near-death experience, you're unconscious, and things could attach itself to your mind, wherever way the mind is. And they can make you see Jesus type figure. If Jesus never existed, so how could you see him if he didn't exist? And how could he be white when he was a person from the Middle East? This Middle Eastern person is not blonde and blue-eyed. But even though I didn't see his face clear, but he's one of those type that Jesus character that you see in Hollywood films. But I just saw his feet. He had pale, white looking feet, and all the ladies there around were all white females, European looking women, young. They looked like teenagers, like teens or early 20s. I've never had any dream or religious experience like this prior to that. I was just a girl from Queens, New York City, got in the military, was introduced to the Bible, and I thought this would be a nice thing to believe in. I wanted to believe in something, and that's all it was. Never did drugs, anything like that. Very clean lifestyle. So, what is this phenomena with the near-death experiencer that I saw uh, over YouTube the other day? These figures that come down and they show you things, or you got to go back home. It's not your time yet. Well, what I believe, I'm starting to believe that, see, they say that this body of ours is an avatar, that wherever where our conscious really is somewhere else, and some things could attach itself to this mind of ours, and they also have control over our bodies. If this is strictly a hologram, they say that the body is part of a hologram. It's all computerized. We're all digital. That's what the Matrix is all about a binary system that we are a part of. We'll have to hurry up that my batteries are getting low. I'm on 20%, it said. Yeah, I'm on my phone. So what happened? What is happening? Well, if you have people that have these instruments, these technologies, if our mind is really somewhere else, they can attach and they can make you see things and they can make you feel things too. They can make you feel like a near death in a near death experience. Because see, maybe you're like on a contract, so to speak, and yet it wasn't your time. They have control over life or death. What it talks about in the Bible? That these gods have control over life or death over you. And if it's just a hologram, they can heal your body. Yeah, and the person in the video that I watched, who was a near-death experiencer, said that once he came to conscious again, his whole body healed up. He said he has no broken bones, nothing wrong with the heart, nothing wrong with this other area in his body. He was completely healed. What if all the diseases we get is a program, people? A program. If we were all just a part of a computer assimilation, you should just knit and tweak the program of your avatar, and maybe that's where the healing is coming from. And then you can promote the narrative of this Jesus character, or whether he be Allah, or whether he be Buddha, or whether you hear what I'm getting at. Do you hear what I'm getting at? You can promote any type of religious system. And religion, as I see it now, is a program of control over beings. Religions were, yes, to enslave, to control you, the body. They can, okay, they can trigger people. They could trigger people to get angry and attack people, maybe like that lady that attacked me. They can press a switch because they have our any like everybody has its own energy signature. An energy signature. Think of it as a thumbprint. And everybody's unique. And once you get the thumbprint, so to speak, or the energy frequency that is specific for that body, they can manipulate it. They can turn on and off a switch. And they can make you do things. They can make you feel things. They can make you feel you had a near-death experience and show you a Jesus character. And then you read, because see, a lot of people are falling away from the church, I presume. I believe the religions are losing control because people are fed up with religion. And when they see the numbers dropping in church, especially the Catholic Church, a lot of these churches are closing down. People aren't going to church anymore. So they give, I'm speculating, I don't have proof, but I'm speculating because there are machines, equipment that can make you feel and experience things in your body. And they can make you feel and have a religious experience, and they're manipulating it with these satellites. They target you, they program, they have you under surveillance. And they know when you get in a car and something happens to you. And they give you this thing because they know they're going to heal you. You just turn the switch, whatever. Okay, that's heal that avatar. Okay, let them have this religious experience, and then promote the church again. So this black fellow that had this near-death experience is now going. He goes on tours and say how good Jesus is, and in essence, be a promoter of religion. Well, how come in early Christianity, why the church was torturing people? You go in early Christian history, it started out with the Catholic Church. Why did they have weapons of destruction and tortured people if they didn't convert to Christianity? Why would this Jesus allow those people to die and not help them out? Because the figure doesn't really exist. How could, if he existed, and he was human, because it says in the Bible he was all human and God, when you can only operate in one or the other. If he's operating as a man, he doesn't have that same power. He cannot protect you. Maybe in his godhood, he can protect. So why isn't he protecting all of us? Why? Why you help in one situation, not another? Why Aren't all people having near death experiences if they have an accident and almost die? Why? It's the same God, right? Does Allah heal people? Does Buddha? You know that? You know what I'm getting at? What is it? Maybe they have people assigned to us. Yeah, maybe that's what they call about, like they said that people have guardian angels, things like that. Well, maybe this is part of that machine that is assigned to you at birth. Remember, they say that you have your guardian angel. What is those other things they say? Um, oh, what's it? The guardian angel, uh, uh, God, spirit guide or something. I forget all the terms that they have. One is supposed to be an angel. One is like a person who lived but they died and now they help you. Things like that. Maybe these are people who work in a computer room, a large computer station area, and they assign people at birth and follow them over their lifetime. And some of them they give near death experience when they died. Let's say they got hurt too soon, and then they give them a miraculous healing, right? Remember, I shared with you guys this event that happened to me at a restaurant. I was talking about at the time when they zapped me, O negative blood, and that I knew someone who had O negative blood, and a lot of people in the secret space program that they talk about on YouTube, they use for those programs, and that's when I got hit. Something attached, something energetically hit my body as I was talking to this person, and then I went like in a stupor for a couple of seconds, and then I heard this this voice in the middle of my head. It was it sounded like a young American woman's voice, Caucasian sounding, and said, "I'm sick and tired hearing you talk about." That's all I remember. And then immediately my heart started racing. I thought someone put something in my food, to be honest. Um, I had to go to the ER. They put a monitor on my chest because when he checked my pulse, I said, "But something's with my heart. Something's happened with my heart." And he put his hand, to feel my pulse, and he got scared, ran, got the equipment attached to me because I had an irregular heartbeat. Yeah, this was an hour. I arrived there at the hospital an hour after the initial attack to my heart. So by this time, my heart was, you know, I was more calm, but it was still erratic. And then uh, the day after the attack, severe earache and GI upset that lasted. The GI upset lasted for 1 month. I got checked for all types of drugs, whatever. Everything was negative. Everything was negative. I believe, because see, that was proof to me that there are people that have access to equipment that could make your heart race, that could put words in your head, that could cause you certain types of ailments in the blink of the eye. What if they're using those equipments when people, in everyday situation, they're eavesdropping on you? Never would have thought that. And the person I was with said that they felt like something hit them on the side of the head that made them dizzy, like a wave. So that's what really signified to me. It was something that you utilize, some type of electromagnetic, or what do you call it, microwave energies that was used targeted me for whatever reason. And this person had insisted that I see him that day. Yet I have no connection with, no involvement with this person. But the person, insists, hey, come on, so I go. So I don't think if I didn't go, I don't think anything would have happened to me. So maybe the person consciously or unconsciously, not willingly might have been in on it, or they were just a patsy for whatever reason. And again, we were talking for 2 hours. And why, after 2 hours, we were just about to leave the restaurant, did they do this? To this day, I don't know. But so the world I'm getting at is not the world that you really think it is. That there are people in high places and things are by domain. Juicy Smollett is someone that's under the protection of someone very high up, such as the Obamas. And he was a tool used to try to divide the country. In 2019, he did that escapade, that hoax. And now he's out on the street in his appeal. And I fear that, see, an appeal can take months. It doesn't guarantee that they're going to completely drop his arrest. They could actually let him go free, and he don't have to do the rest of his time, the 150 days. That is a possibility, people. Why? So the narrative right now, see, yes, you have people in history, you have Black people who are victims of circumstances, who experience horrible things in life. But now in America, you have Black people now are being the perpetrator of crimes against their society. I repeat, that now the system is openly using Black America as the guise to try to overthrow America. We're no longer, many of us are no longer the victims we used to be. And we're not safe. See, once they use us, they will discard us also. That's how it always works with this system on the planet. That's how Satan operates. They'll use you, promise you wealth and everything, and then, boom, they get rid of you. That is what I believe what's happening. And so you see things now that don't make sense. People who are going berserk out there. Things happening all over New York City. People who want to leave the United States. And they leave America, and some of these women that I made mention of, the Black women who are this program that I watch, these expats, they're moving overseas. Well, some of them are coming back to the U.S. Some of us are coming back home, coming back here in America. Yeah, when you go overseas, you're not guaranteed anything out there. You're not guaranteed that you'll be liked, or even if you go to a Black country. There's no guarantee about anything. And I tell that to myself as well. There's no guarantee. No guarantee of safety. That they're even using Nigerians now and some other Africans in the, that's the other point I was getting. I have to really be quick. With Ukraine, how does this also fit in with Ukraine? Now you see now, here you have a country that's being invaded by Russia. And then early in the attack, they mentioned about African students, Black African students, not allowed on the train, allegedly because of their color. and not because that they didn't have a Ukrainian passport. But either way, the race card was being used again. Okay, but there was a document that was put out there recently that I was watching this morning. It was Fox News, Fox 5, wrote a commentary on this particular person. I forget the person's name, but they made mention about that. What was that now? Eight, 23 of 25 labs, something like that, medical labs, were being used to develop bioweapons. It was the mass majority of the labs, and oops, I got 10 more minutes. Okay, I gotta hurry. So you got biolabs were being used that's being funded by the U.S. for these biolabs in Ukraine. Could what is being happening with Russia, is Russia attacking Ukraine because Ukraine has bioweapons that's being funded by the U.S.? And is the smoke screen being used with the black African students another smoke screen for you to hate Russia or Ukraine? I don't know. Is it a smoke screen? This is something. So you have a country that is developing bioweapons that's being funded by the US. Is this why Russia attacked Ukraine? This story thickens. Maybe that's what all this is about. That the smokescreen to distract people and to present a narrative about Russia attacking Ukraine and Ukraine crying for help. And this whole thing could be just that you have them developing bioweapons in the mass majority of the labs there. And maybe that's what Russia is attacking, where the labs are, to destroy those bioweapons so it doesn't get released onto Russia. Yeah, and then this race card with the students, and you even heard that hey, they might even utilize some of the Nigerians that are there to fight for to fight for Ukraine or something. Interesting. I mean, I'm not 100% sure about that, but they were to fight for someone. I forget now whether it was Ukraine or Russia. Let me know, guys, those of you who are really more on top of the news. So I know I presented a lot out there. So in short, there's a lot of distractions out there, and there are always different domains out there that control human behavior, human narratives, but it's all to distract you, to control you. Okay, yeah. Let me read this message real quick. What Acer said. Yeah, the fear of a false god. Every war has been over whose middleman is the most powerful. Jesus is just a man based off of the sun. That's why people pray on Sundays. Christ doesn't rise, the sun rises, the sun is the creator. Yeah. And then last thing that Asa said, the government is creating a race war because overpopulation and we are running out of natural resources. Yeah, yeah. They want you to think that things are, people live in cities, cramped up cities. But I went on what do you call that, Earth, Google Earth, and I went and looked in certain places. Much lands are vacant, but they create um, create, what do you call it, scarcity by um, holding, withholding a lot of stuff. So they think it's a lack, but it's not. That's how a lot of people came to the Americas, because they created a false shortage of food in Europe, and to force a lot of Europeans into the Americas. Yeah, a lot of stuff is man-made, and not natural. Yeah. So yeah. So be careful about the race card with everything, and yes, they could manipulate and attack. You could be the celebrated one day and an enemy the next. Yes, you could be a black person who's been a victim of history, but now could be used to be a pawn for the system. So just keep your ground. Don't be manipulated, and use wisdom. Take care, guys. I gotta go. My battery's about up. Thank you for listening. And those of you who like this content, um, you may wish to find, support my channel and finance me through my PayPal me account. You'll find the link on my channel, Spirit Journey channel, and on the right hand side of the banner, you'll see my PayPal me link. Just click on the link, follow the prompt. Any amount would be greatly appreciated. I thank you in advance. Peace, love, joy, and power be unto you. I appreciate you. Thank you for listening and thank you for your comments. Take care. Enjoy, folks. Bye bye. Yes, I'll check out that attacker. Thank you. I'll do it now. Bye.